Good afternoon. For those who don't know, I'm the Vice Mayor here at the City of Norfolk, Martin Thomas Jr. I'm joined here with Councilwoman Danica Royster and our City Manager Chip Filer. Thank you both for attending and supporting this huge project. Danica and I and the rest of City Council are excited to join in the announcement of $249 million in federal funding to help begin the construction of a flood barrier system that will enhance the current downtown flood wall and extend it east through Waterside and the Harbor Park area. This project was highlighted in the Virginia Coastal Resilience Master Plan as a model hybrid project for the Commonwealth. Credit for that distinction goes to so many who've been working in this resilience arena in Norfolk for over 20 years. Discussions of this project truly go back to after Hurricane Isabel in 2003. Since then, Norfolk has joined the Rockefeller Foundation's 100 Resilient Cities Network in 2013, hosted the Dutch Dialogues in 2014, released a comprehensive resilience strategy to define Norfolk as the coastal community of the future in 2015, was awarded $120 million from the National Disaster Resiliency Competition to protect the Ohio Creek watershed in 2016, and in 2019 we kicked off the first phase of design with the Army Corps for this coastal storm risk management flood protection plan. We've come a long way. This project will provide crucial flood protection for the St. Paul's transformational area, which is a priority for this City Council. I want to thank the United States Army Corps of Engineers, our congressional delegation, and Norfolk's Office of Resilience for their work in making this model project a reality for Norfolk and the Commonwealth. Norfolk now looks forward to working with our partners in Richmond as we assemble the 35% non-federal match necessary to complete this model coastal resilience project. I now ask Colonel Hallberg, the Norfolk District Commander of the United States Army Corps of Engineers, to say a few words.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon. I'm happy to be here and talk about our partnership with the City of Norfolk and the Coastal Storm Risk Management Project that Norfolk District continues to collaborate on with the city. It's through our great partnership that we achieve progress on coastal resiliency. I'd like to briefly talk to the project's purpose, how the Army Corps of Engineers is collaborating with the City of Norfolk to deliver a quality project on time, within budget, safely, and briefly describe what features will be part of the system. First, this project is important to the Norfolk community to reduce the damage from coastal storms that impact businesses, residents, and infrastructure. The project addresses rising sea level plus land subsidence, oceanographic changes and increasing frequencies of coastal storm events that continue to flood the city. In the end, this project will improve community coastal resiliency, which is a national priority. Secondly, the project is currently in the design phase. Norfolk District continues to work with city planners to implement a phased approach to design and construction. The City of Norfolk prioritized 5 areas for design, and we're going to follow that construction sequence. We're currently conducting planning charrettes with city planners within the first prioritized area of Towns Point Park, which you can see right here to our left, to east of Berkeley Bridge. The $249 million provided in the Infrastructure Investment and Job Act is a good start to protecting people and property beyond the structures that we will build together in the downtown area. Lastly, the Norfolk Coastal Storm Risk Management Project is a system to prevent flooding. The system consists of a series of levees, flood walls, bin walls, floodgates, tide gates, and pump stations. The system will eventually include other planning areas to include Creddy Lake, Lafayette River, Rock Creek, and the Compostela to Berkeley area. The levees, walls, and gates work to keep the storm surge out, while the pump stations drain rainwater trapped behind the system to prevent flooding. The project will incorporate voluntary non-structural features such as raising houses, filling in basements, and floodproofing. The project also includes natural and nature-based features that include approximately a third of an acre of oyster reefs and 9 acres of living shoreline. The Norfolk District and city planners worked hard to incorporate these features into the city landscape while providing the level of protection needed for storms now and well into the future. The Army Corps of Engineers values our partnership with the City of Norfolk as we collaborate together to improve community resiliency through our phased design and construction approach that builds protective features into the city landscape. And I do want to thank, the Virginia congressional delegation for their support and their resources to make sure that this project happens. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel. Next up, we have the Assistant Secretary of the Army, Michael Connor.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. I just want to add a few words to what Colonel Hallberg has already said, which is basically this project is about risk, it's about partnership, it's about leadership. This is a community at risk. You know from what you're already experiencing, as well as the protections on sea level rise, the coastal flooding issues, and the storm surge issues are going to continue to occur, and they're going to get worse. And so we need to do something about it, and that leads to partnership. The Army Corps of Engineers has long been doing work like this, protecting communities from flooding, whether inland or on the coast. But we don't do that alone, we do that in partnership. Communities that are looking forward and identifying their needs and using their resources to work with the Army Corps to address the issues necessary to protect their communities. And that gets to finally leadership. And the city and the congressional delegation and everybody involved has demonstrated tremendous leadership in saying we're going to lean forward, we're going to take care of this issue, we're going to invest the resources, and we're going to build innovation into how we protect these coastal communities. And that's not only good, great, we're hopeful in this area of Virginia, but it's also great in being on the leading edge of how we're going to look and design these type of protections in the future for other communities, how we're going to be more aggressive in dealing with the risks from climate change and all of the changing nature in our landscapes that we see from that, particularly on our coast. And for that, Army Civil Works, the Army Corps of Engineers, we are grateful to be partners with the City of Norfolk, this part of Virginia, and implementing a project to protect this community and being on the leading edge to protect other communities as we move forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We couldn't do this without the support of our congressional delegation. I want to thank Senator Mark Warner, who couldn't be here today, for his support. I do want to ask Congressman Bob Scott for some comments. Thank him for his support.
Thank you, Martin, and it's good to be here with my friend Elaine, Luria, and I want to thank everyone for coming out today. I'm proud to represent Virginia's 3rd Congressional District, which includes this afternoon parts of Norfolk. The district, that'll change. The district is a special place where the James, Nansemond, and Elizabeth rivers meet the Chesapeake Bay, and it's hard to overstate how important this investment is. The investment, the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act are vital to the Virginia's 3rd Congressional District, Hampton Roads, and the unique ecosystems that characterize this region. In addition to making long overdue investments in our public transit systems, enhancing broadband coverage, improving our bridge, tunnels, roadways, and electric grid, the infrastructure law also invests a major amount of money into the Chesapeake Bay region, over $200 million over the next 5 years to deal with climate change. I was proud to support that bill because I recognize the necessity of bolstering our region's resilience to rising sea and coastal storms, protecting our national treasures like the Chesapeake Bay, and ensuring our buses, bridges, roads, and tunnels are safe and efficient. Just last week, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration released a study that found that sea level rise along the east coast of the United States will rise an average of 1 foot by 2050 due to heat trapping pollution that has already been released into the atmosphere. Because of land subsidence in this region, sea level rise is expected to be even more here in Hampton Roads. So fortunately, the city of Norfolk is already leading the way in climate adaptation and partnering with federal agencies. The City of Norfolk Coastal Storm Risk Management Project, the focus of today's tour and announcement, is an especially exciting win for the infrastructure bill and the months of negotiation that led to its passage. This program will shape the future of Norfolk as we adapt to climate change. Like everyone else who has planned to commute around the tide and weather forecasts, we know that you have to look out and figure out when the river flood will be at any particular time. And through this project, the City of Norfolk is partnering with the Army Corps, modernizing the city's zoning regulations and hazard mitigation plans and deploying green infrastructure. Army Corps is also installing a number of structural measures, including surge barriers, tidal gates, flood walls, levees, and pump stations. And together, these efforts will reduce and help manage the flooding. I'm grateful to my colleagues in the Hampton Roads delegation, Elaine, Luria, Congressman Senator McCain, and especially Mark Warner, who is a leader in the Senate negotiations on the legislation. So as we return to Washington next week, we remain committed to advancing policies that will reduce emissions and help avoid the worst of the climate change crisis. I want to thank the Army Corps and Assistant Secretary for being with us today. A lot of the problems that we have are already baked in, but if we look towards the future, we can reduce the future sea level rise. But right now, about a foot of it is already baked in, and we just have to deal with it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Congressman. And last but not least, I'll ask Congressman Luria to say a few remarks.
I want to start by saying thank you and welcome to Assistant Secretary Connor and all the representatives from the Army Corps. It's great to have folks come to the district, see the challenges, and if you look at today's weather, you might just see some of the flooding in real life that we experience on a daily basis. I asked the city manager, is it high tide? I think we could have missed high tide on this visit. But those of us who live here certainly understand the impacts that can have on getting around. I want to thank our Vice Mayor, Martin Thomas, as well as Councilwoman Royster for their great cooperation. These are the kind of projects that you can't do alone. It takes federal, it takes state level, and it takes local. Federal, state, and local to pull something like this off. And this is a beginning phase and something that is much, much bigger for Norfolk. Vice Mayor Thomas mentioned the Owl Creek project. That's an incredibly important project for so many reasons. It really uses a lot of adaptive uses for resiliency and natural shorelines, and it touches a community that often is overlooked in these kind of projects. So really want to thank the Norfolk City Council for being forward-looking and thinking about reaching every neighborhood within the community. And we have the phase here of the seawall extending from where we stand at Nauticus to Hallberg Park, as well as future projects for the Lafayette River and Pretty Lake. Bobby are for now. And we work really closely together as a congressional delegation. I just want to say that this is a bipartisan infrastructure package, and we really want to show that support to the community. So $249 million, it's a huge start to something much bigger. I know that the city and the Commonwealth are going to work together to find the resources necessary to keep advancing this project. So just want to thank everyone involved and really excited about what the bipartisan infrastructure package brings to our region. So thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody. I think we're going to go get a little wet and go on a tour.